Hello, Capricorns. Feeling Grasshopper here to do your July 2025 reading. I hope all of you are well. Reversed? No. Okay. So we're starting out of the gate. I have a feeling I know what this is, but let's see what the rest of the line says. The sun. Oh. Oh, it's so great, Capricorn. Okay, so listen. Um, there it there's a lot on your mind right now. Okay, a lot, and primarily it is it's a combination of things, but the primary thing is your finances. Okay, so there are a number of you who, for whatever reason, don't have income right now, and that's bothering you, right? And that is because you are in a transition right now. Um, so, and that's what the sun is saying here. Like, you're like, oh my God, the whole world is falling apart. And, the divine is like, No, no, it's not. You're okay. Relax. Right? So, not this. These? This one. This one too? Okay. So we've got the moon reversed, not reversed. Okay. So here's the rest of the sentence, right? Where the divine is saying it's okay. And then the moon is like, you just don't see it, right? Because the energy of the moon is not seeing clearly. And it can mean like dreams and that kind of thing, but it can also mean illusion, right? So the divine is saying you are imagining this, or not imagining it, because I don't want to dismiss what you're feeling and experiencing, but just because you see something in front of you, it doesn't mean that that is going to be what the rest of your life is going. It doesn't indicate where you're heading. It's just like, just because you hit a pothole doesn't mean you're on the road to hell. You just hit a pothole. You are still en route to, I don't know, Disney World. That's a really weird analogy, but that's just what's coming through me right now, right? So don't worry about the pothole. That's just the things that have been put in your path to teach you things. And I can tell you, by the way, for those of you who don't follow me and this is your first time here, I am also Capricorn. I am a Capricorn sun. Okay. So I am in the trenches with you. And when this came out, I was like, wow. Um, so, I'm not always part of every reading that I do. Um, but every now and then the monthly readings will, be very close to what I'm experiencing too. And I really feel this is me. Um, and this over here is the dialogue that that I've been having with spirit for the past, I'd say maybe 4 months. So, when these two came up, I was like, wow, that's really funny. So, and by the way, there is an Oprah um video that I watched this morning that I'm going to put in the description that is going to help this feeling here. A lot of it is kind of common sense, but it's still really helpful in the way she presents it. You will have some light bulbs go off go on over your head like, oh yeah, I see now. It really talks about your path and the potholes that I was talking about. Anywho, this is ours too, right? Okay. The lovers. Reversed. Reversed. Okay. So here's another subject, right? And I mentioned in the beginning that you're dealing with more than finances, but the primary thing right now that Capricorn is, whoops, I forgot to light my gratitude candle. Gratitude. Okay. So, the lovers reversed. Okay. Sorry. I just, I saw the candle and it just it distracted me. So, we were talking about not every um that finances is the primary thing, but there are other issues, and here it is. The Lover's Reverse talks about relationships that are less than perfect right now, right? And some of them are transitioning and even closing out, and that can be very uncomfortable. Um, those of you who follow me know that for the past maybe year and a half, I've been talking about um, the station, right? And how, because we're in the Great Ascension. Oh boy, they're starting to do construction outside. Hold on. It's the window. I hope that helps a bit. And I see a jackhammer too. I hope this doesn't ruin the reading. Anyway, I talk about the Great Ascension and how in the Ascension there are for the people ascending, the light workers, there are seasons that are closing out, right? Your relationships are for a season, and you don't realize that until the season ends or begins to end. Because in a lot of our relationships, we really see ourselves with these people forever. And we can be talking about any kind of relationship, romantic relationship, platonic relationships, who knows, business relationships. It doesn't matter. You don't enter a relationship and, put an expiration date on it. You know, you never realize that that day is going to come. But when that day comes, it's like, what? No. And you do everything you can to preserve it and hold on to it, especially Capricorns, especially us. We are the type of person, first of all, it takes a whole lot to make us angry. It takes a lot to get us to fight. But once we do, God help you. Um, but as for relationships, we do everything we can to be as self aware as we can and to preserve and improve upon the relationship, to salvage the relationship, right? So it's like we work overdrive, but the universe is trying to pull that thing away from us and we're just holding on to it like the four of pentacles won't let it go, right? So it's especially difficult for us. That tooth is really embedded and very, very hard for the universe to pull from us. It's very painful. So enough analogies. You know what I'm talking about, right? So that's why the lovers is reversed here, because the lovers is about kind of a choice in relationships, how you approach relationships, how the relationship um, is going to progress, and how you uh, relate to each other and all that kind of thing. Um, I swear, if I did my own tarot deck, I'd be tempted to to relabel the lovers to, to something like the contestants or something. I don't know. Because the lovers doesn't mean what it sounds like. Um, it can include lovers, but it often doesn't point to that. Anyway, it talks about relationships and how we relate to others in the world. It's reversed. So this is talking about, in this context, a separation or, yeah, a separating of paths, right? And this is causing us a great deal of stress on top of everything else. Um, so Capricorn, I hope that that helps because the Hanged Man is coming to mind right now. Like, you really need to change your perspective on the relationships that you're in right now, because I know there are more than one for most of you. Like, this can be husbands, boyfriends, that kind of thing, where you've noticed that you haven't been seeing eye to eye and you're not vibrating on the same level, as troubling you. And for a lot of you, it may mean that your season is ending. So you need to prepare yourself for that. And in being aware of that, you can make the effort to make it as peaceful as possible, right? It doesn't have to be ugly. You could just agree to separate and that's it. So, but it's more than that. Then there are the platonic relationships that I swear, and I've said it in other readings, where those are even harder than the romantic ones, right? Because, romantic relationships, there are makeups and breakups, and it's kind of, if things aren't working in a romantic relationship, it's kind of expected to have that as an option, separating. But that's never a go-to option in a platonic relationship, right? You never really think about that. You have a friend, they're a friend forever. Yeah, no, that's not true. So you really have to think of that and really assess that relationship. Like, where is this relationship going? Is this relationship serving me? Is it causing me stress? Am I vibrating on the same level with this person still? Am I going to stay in this? Because really, you've got to weigh the pros and cons. What am I getting out of this relationship? And Capricorns are very good at assessing that kind of thing. Um, so our center card, these two are ours. Is this the center? It is the center. Yeah, see? Dissatisfied. Four of Cups is dissatisfied with life in general. We just, things are not going well for us. Transitions oftentimes, I would not be surprised if the world doesn't show up at some point, or the chariot. Um, Especially transitions like this, like very important transitions, because there are different levels of transitions. It's just like when you're driving, right? You can be driving in a rural town locally, making a left turn to go to the grocery store or whatever. Or you can be like on a major complicated thoroughfare, getting onto a highway, going to a different state. That's a different type of trip, right? So right now, you're about to get on that interstate, right? In back of a moving truck. This is a serious. And those kind of transitions always look like disasters. Always. I went through one 10 years ago, and it really felt like every single thing in my life was falling apart. Everything. I had relationships falling apart. My job was falling apart. People were dying. I mean, I had to, I was losing my childhood home. It was just, my dog died. It was just everything that could go wrong in my life was going wrong. And it was because God was transitioning me to another phase in my life. And here we are. And I'm sure a lot of you are nodding your heads like, yeah, about 10 years ago, and me too, you know? And a large part of that was Pluto and Capricorn, by the way, which has left Capricorn and is now in Aquarius, which is going to bring a new chapter in our lives. And then there are other things in the astrology. But I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But this is important. Um and I know you guys are going through it. And I want you guys to know that I'm in the trenches with you. Okay, so Page of Pentacles is assuring you, and it's under the moon too. And by the way, Four of Cups, we didn't talk about the Four of Cups being under the sun here, is things are working in your favor, you just don't see it right now. The moon illusions and Page of Pentacles is the beginning of um, a material gain that you don't quite see yet. Justice is, again, everything working in your favor. Everything will work out. Queen of Swords. We have, remember, I was just talking about you needing to assess relationships and cut out some relationships that don't serve you or that are bringing you stress or anxiety or whatever. Um, that is very necessary. Again, in this line here is stop focusing on what's terrible, or at least focus on it in a different way. Start cleaning house if there are things that you see that are terrible or that don't serve you. It's time for you to put it in the recycling pile. Don't keep it in your life because you can't take everything with you on this journey. What else we got, Spirit? King of Pentacles, look at this under the Page of Pentacles. This is your progression from not being able to see the progression to Spirit telling you you're on that progression. You, at some point, the sun is going to come up and you'll start to see the gains coming towards you slowly. It's not going to be presented to you on a silver platter. It's going to take some effort, but this is where you're progressing to, King of Pentacles. It's beautiful. Judgment. Judgment is saying, number one, I mean, there's a constant reminder. It almost every card, it's like the first word of the sentence is transition, right? The transition, comma, blah, blah, blah. The transition finances, the transition of your relationships, the transition of your um of the just the things in general that you have in your life that are, working in your favor. Something's coming, something's going. Transition. Here it is. the divine transition. God is reminding you in the end of the reading here, the outcome of the reading, a confirmation that you are entering a new paradigm, and this does not happen overnight. So you are going to need to have faith and work with it instead of against it. Go with the tide that the divine has set for you. You know, don't swim upstream. You're not gonna you're gonna kill yourself trying to do swim upstream. It's not gonna work. You're not a salmon. So you need to turn around and go with the flow. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to hit some rocks. You're going to go over potholes and that kind of thing. But don't let that stop you because it's just going to delay you from getting to this King of Pentacles. Okay? So, confirmation, yes. We've got Tarot Clarity coming. I think that's a fun book. Any of these? Yes. This one? Reversed. Three of Cups. Right? Relationships. Three of Cups reversed. Three of Cups is coming together in celebration and union and friendship and love and support and that kind of thing reversed. This is a dissolving of relationships. I can't tell you which relationships are going to dissolve and which ones you need to dissolve. You are going to know that intuitively. And I think this might be the start of it. It's not like this reading is going to be like the big revelation, but I think it might turn your attention to something that was already there. Like, maybe I do need to resolve this or really look at this and assess it and not let it continue the way it is. Reversed? No. Three of Wands. The waiting for your ships to come in, right? Card. This is about you hesitating to make a choice. This is kind of deer in the headlights. Like, well, this is crazy. What's happening? I'm drowning. Everything's falling apart. What's happening? And it's kind of like I'm standing here waiting either for the other shoe to drop or something to improve or God to rescue me or that kind of thing. You cannot, there are two things here. You do need to expect for things to improve, but these are wands here. So this is an invitation to act. There's a whole lot of work that you need to do. So roll up your sleeves and start again sifting out things and putting things in the recycling pile. And look at Queen of Swords. What did I just say? Wow, what a reading. Right? There is some surgery that needs to be done on your life right now. That is obvious. The star is beautiful. Reverse? No. Here is your potential for greatness. And dare I say, Capricorns, that this is the greatness that you have been dreaming about your whole life. Yeah. Spirit says yes. Okay, one more. Yeah, the devil. The devil is us. We're getting in our own way. There are two messages here. The primary message is the message that everyone gets from the devil. And what I mean, everyone, I mean all zodiac signs. When the devil comes out, it's like there is a problem that you are not seeing in the right way that is worse than you think, and that you have more control over it than you are perceiving, is the general message. But the message for a Capricorn is something extra, and that is you are the master of this kind of situation. We are the children of Saturn, right? Nothing comes easily to us. Saturn is forever putting us in situations that are challenging. Why? Because we're the better for it in the end. We are stronger and stronger through every karmic situation that we are put through, right? So this is a reminder of who you are. You are Capricorn. This is what you do. You are the climber. Obstacles are nothing to us. When we see an obstacle, we just see a challenge and we climb right over it. We don't, collapse on the ground and throw a tantrum because it's difficult. Not a Capricorn, right? So this is that reminder. Any more tarot? No. Advice cards. Higher self. You have one higher self card coming. Clear your energy. Okay, guys. Meditation. Okay, let's also talk about, excuse me, let's also talk about the fact that Capricorns are seen as the rocks. We are the firm foundation, right? We are earthy. No matter how difficult things are, people look at Capricorn up on the cliff like, look at Capricorn. Wow, I'm drowning over here, but Capricorn is thriving. We're always seen as those people. That doesn't mean that we're not drowning inside, but we appear to everyone else as the solid foundation. So we are the go-to people. Sometimes people will lean on us a little bit too much and that kind of thing. So sometimes we've got to stop and set and reset our boundaries and that kind of thing. Um, but then there's also the burdens that we put on ourselves. Um, no other sign is more difficult on themselves than a Capricorn. Again, because we're children of Saturn, right? So baggage from other people and the baggage we create for ourselves, right? That's become very, very heavy. And that is why we feel like this. Okay? So there needs to be self-care. Meditation. Take yourself out to dinner. Take a bath. You could take spiritual baths too. Very helpful. Um, there are a million things, Capricorn, you know what they are. When you're tired, there are times at the end of the day, I do this to myself all the time. There are times at the end of the day, right, where I will finish a task, right? It'll be like 10, 11 o'clock. I'll finally finish a task and then I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? You know? But part of me is like, but it's 11 o'clock. But no, there are so many other things to do. Let me just do one more thing. For a while, Capricorn, you're going to need to stop doing that. You need to look at yourself and say, you know what? It's 11 o'clock. It is time to quit. It's time to give myself a break. I'm going to stop and go watch that movie that I'm interested in that everyone's talking about. Just give yourself a break. Okay? Um, binaural beats. If you are having a hard time meditating, my go-to are binaural beats. If you have a hard time quieting your mind, that humming sounds really, for me anyway, just try it. For me, it just kind of drowns out my thoughts and it's a constant reminder to focus. And then you can choose things like chakra balancing, um, individual chakra. Uh, if it'll make you feel better, it can be, or energy cleansing. You can do, something like what what I desire is attracted to me. You can do money binaural beats, finances of some kind. It'll have you relax and give your mind a rest and work towards a goal at the same time. It'll satisfy that anxiety of, oh, I have to do something, something needs to be done. You are doing something. Self care, working towards your goal in the astral instead of on the physical plane all the time, because that's where we burn ourselves out all the time because we are earth signs. Sometimes we've got to give the earth plane a rest and visit the astral plane because that is part of manifestation. You can't completely manifest on the earthly plane. You've got to go to the astral too. So let's focus on that for a while. Let me know in the comments section if that alleviates this anxiety bit because I bet it does. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section. I really miss you guys. Um, like in January of last year, you guys were really talking in the comments, and I was really enjoying getting to know you guys. I miss you. Please let me hear from you in the comment section. It's like Christmas morning for me, especially with the Capricorns. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. So every single one means the world to me. So I thank you in advance. I will speak to you guys soon. I love you, Cappies. Everything's going to be okay, I promise. Love, light, and many blessings.